Hey, what's going on everybody? Steve Raiken here, coming back to you with another video. And I want to start off by asking you a question. Do you ever feel overwhelmed? Does it just take the life out of you? Do you find that maybe days or weeks or even months go by and you're not getting as much stuff done, you're not productive, you really feel like you're falling short because you're just so overwhelmed? Well, I can tell you right now that I've faced this, I've dealt with it, I've struggled with it, it's been a challenge in the past, and I want to share with you guys 6 ways to avoid getting so overwhelmed where you just lose your shit. It all happens, it happens to us, it happens to everybody, I'm sure we've all gone through it, so I want to share with you guys these 6 tips. So tip number 1 is you need to take a look at everything that you're doing and you have to start eliminating. What are the things that you're doing that are stressing you out like crazy? Ask yourself the question, is there any way that I can just eliminate this? And if you can't eliminate, try to outsource. Especially in business, us as entrepreneurs, we try to do everything. We wear all the hats. And for me, it came to the point where I had to hire people to do certain things in my business that A, I wasn't that good at, and B, it was just stressing me out. It was driving me crazy. So go through all the various things that you're doing that are stressing you out and ask yourself, can I either eliminate it completely or outsource it? Tip number 2 to avoid overwhelm and losing your you-know-what is to stop trying to do it all. A lot of times we're overwhelmed because we're not clear on our priorities. If you have your priorities in line, you're never gonna feel overwhelmed because you're gonna know exactly what you need to do. The times that I've felt most overwhelmed is it's because I wasn't really crystal clear in terms of what I wanted, why I wanted it, my driving force, so on and so forth. So take some time to assess your values, your wants, your needs, your musts, the things in life that really matter most to you, and really start to drill down in terms of what are the things that you do that create the results. It's like the 80-20 rule, right? 20% of things that you do are gonna result in 80% of your outcome. So what are those 20% of things that you could focus on? What are the things that you're doing in your health, in your fitness, business, finances that are really the most important? If you're overwhelmed, it's because you're not clear and you're not focusing on the things that matter. So write a huge list out of all the things you're doing and then ask yourself, what is the 1, 2, or 3 things that are really making an impact in whatever area of life you want to apply this in? Tip number 3 to avoid losing your you-know-what and to feel overwhelmed is to focus on progress versus perfectionism. A lot of times we feel overwhelmed because we're trying to make everything so perfect. We have a standard, right? We expect the result to be equivalent to this or to the standard, and maybe we fall short and we put a lot of pressure and stress on ourselves to work even harder to get there. And here's the thing, not only do I find that it's really easy to be happy and fulfilled when you're making progress, but I also find that it's very important in terms of just getting ahead in business and finances and your health. It's not about being perfect. It's not about doing every single little thing right, militant style, but it's about just making progress. It's not about keeping up with the Joneses or being better than the next guy. And obviously it's awesome to have a competitive spirit inside of you, but look at yourself, stare in the mirror and ask yourself this question. Am I better than I was yesterday? Am I improving upon who I was last week or last month? A lot of us were just trying to be so perfect, and instead we would feel much less overwhelmed and stressed out if we focused on just making progress 1%, 2% a week versus trying to make 20, 30, 40% leaps and bounds and quantum leaps overnight. So that's one thing that's really helped me to avoid feeling overwhelmed and losing my shit. So number 4, this is a big one right here, guys. I'm not gonna go too deep into it, but a lot of times we feel overwhelmed because we're just not getting enough sleep. Get sleep. I found for me, I've got to get at least 7 hours of sleep. I've experimented with 5 and 6, and eventually I self-implode. What does that mean? I lose it. I go crazy. My body doesn't run very well with less than 6 hours of sleep. Especially, if I want to be, in peak performance, really doing the best 8 hours I found. Once I go over 8, it doesn't seem to have any benefit for me. But experiment with this for yourself. How many hours of sleep do you need to get to feel great? How many hours of sleep do you find you're just irritable, you're stressed out, you're not really sharp, you're not really thinking right? A lot of times we feel overwhelmed because we're just lack of sleep or lack of nutrition, or maybe we need to get outside and start moving and exercising. That helps a lot. But get sleep. It's really, really important. Tip number 5 for avoiding overwhelm or to get out of the feeling of being overwhelmed and not to lose your you-know-what is positive self-talk. Again, I'm not going to dive super deep into this, but a lot of times we feel overwhelmed because we have negative beliefs. We're gossiping. We're saying negative things about ourselves. Oh, we could, I'm not good enough. I can't lose weight because I'm too lazy. I'm not smart enough to learn this. I don't have the time. All these limiting beliefs that are in our head is a bunch of BS. I can tell you right now, guys, being positive and encouraging yourself and saying, positive affirmations and incantations like, yes, I feel super energetic. I can do anything I put my mind to. As corny and cliche as it sounds, let's not lie, guys. Like, some of these quotes and stuff and incantations and affirmations are really corny. But I want you to repeat to yourself, like, I love myself, I feel amazing, I'm on fire, I am strong, I am unstoppable. I know it's corny, but repeat those words, or whatever words you want to choose, for a minute or 2 minutes, and watch how your physiology, watch how your mind, everything starts to change. Your brain cannot tell the difference between the truth and a lie. So maybe you're overweight, maybe you don't have a lot of energy, maybe you don't feel great, but keep telling yourself that. And now don't say, I'm energetic, I feel great, I am confident. You know what I mean? Like, you've got to have your mind and body as one for your brain to really, get tricked, if you want to call it that. But if you put your body in emotion and you align the words, it really helps a lot. So positive self-talk is a big one for avoiding feeling overwhelmed. And last but not least, this is like basic stuff, but I can't tell you for how many years I didn't have one of these. Get a calendar, okay? You can get yourself a physical calendar, or you can get one on Google Calendars. Start scheduling out your time. Now, you don't have to be super meticulous about it, but start scheduling appointments, start scheduling things you want to do, set up reminders. There's all these cool functionalities of Google Calendars. It's free. But I can tell you right now, I used to be so stressed out and overwhelmed because I didn't remember something, and then it would come up and I felt so overwhelmed, like, oh my God, because I had all these plans and then these surprise plans because I didn't have a calendar. Get a calendar. Google Calendar, just get it, or get a physical one and start scheduling your time, scheduling appointments, and it will really help you so much more to feel better and not feel overwhelmed. Also, Trello. I love Trello. It's a great software for managing tasks and teammates, if you have any virtual assistants, so on and so forth. But yeah, those are my tips, guys. Those are the 6 tips. Eliminate. Stop trying to do it all. Focus on one thing. Number 3, focus on progress versus perfection. 4, get sleep. 5, positive self-talk. And 6, get a calendar. So if you're feeling overwhelmed, guys, take some notes. Start to apply 1 or 2 of these, and I guarantee you're going to start to feel better. So with that being said, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next video.